Visionaire, Episode 5. Last week in Visionaire, Mathius and his men pushed forward to the capital, leaving nothing but fire and ruin in their wake. Her militia unable to stop them, Prime Minister Kleo called for emergency evacuation, instructing all civilians to the capital city for safeguard. Erion, Trinity, Blaze, and Milo made their hurried escape to the streets, doing their best to blend in with the masses as they marched onward towards their own target, a ship. Soldiers escort tired and frightened civilians to their sleeping quarters, their eyes showing the weariness of a long night already. Blaze struggles to hold his suitcase under a long, dark cloak. He does his best to appear inconspicuous as he half walks, half waddles near the makeshift tents, scanning the fence not half a mile away. His face pulls tight with pain, and he leans his head toward his shoulder. With great effort, he releases one arm from around his suitcase and sneaks it up to tap his ear.
What?
How's it looking out there? Anything?
It's not perfect, but the east appears to be pretty empty.
Damn it. Okay, I guess that's better than nothing.
A soldier passes Blaze, slowing his walk and eyeing him suspiciously as he passes with two men in tow. Blaze gulps and offers an awkward salute. The soldier gives a stiff nod.
There's still a lot of activity outside the tents. We should probably wait a little longer, don't you think?
No, the more people out, the better. Besides, it's not like anyone will actually get hurt.
Come again?
A loud crack is heard, followed by a series of bangs and explosions. Terrified, Blaze dives to the ground along with several others nearby. A piercing scream is heard from a few tents back, and Blaze risks a glance up towards the source. The tent smolders and smokes. Several women running away as soldiers grab their rifles and march briskly towards the scream. Trinity emerges, her dirt-smeared face streaking with tears as she fans herself. A soldier leads her away by the elbow as others rush inside.
Calm down, ma'am. You're fine. Can you...
Oh, God! My baby was in there still! I couldn't get him out!
Your baby?
You have to save my baby!
Stricken, the soldier all but lets Trinity shove him towards the now crackling fire of the tent. Blaze watches, his face perplexed, when he feels a firm hand slap onto his shoulder. Milo and Erion appear on either side of Blaze.
Can't sleep here, creep. Let's go.
Creep?
Yes, that was an insult.
Erion and Milo help Blaze to his feet as Trinity, now clean-faced and cloaked in a dark traveling coat, rejoins and picks up the suitcase Blaze dropped. Blaze snatches it from her.
Don't touch that, okay?
Sorry. He fell asleep on the road.
Shut up. Let's go. Quietly.
As our four friends make their way to the Capitol building, Mathius and his ministers have found their path unnervingly clear as they move swiftly towards the Capitol as well. Just before reaching the perimeter of the Capitol, Mathius throws out an arm to halt his ministers in their tracks. From afar, they can see the masses trudging along the well-worn and dusty path, soldiers scanning the crowds. Stewing, Mathius balls his hands into fists and squints out at the sight before him. Behind him, his ministers grow restless.
My lord, we should always be at your command, no matter the sacrifice. But might I suggest we take a moment's pause?
There shall be no pause. Did they give us pause before slaughtering our people, having nothing but lived lives of sanctity and servitude? Do you see even now what they have in store, even for those they claim fall in compliance with their laws and sinful lifestyle?
My lord, I did not mean to suggest.
Speak no further, lest you forget what else they hold over us. Bear you no doubt they will have found my purest Erion and will be holding her within their fortress. Can we stand by idle while she might be subjected to God's know what within?
Never, my lord.
Never indeed.
With this declaration, Mathius and his ministers march forward. As they draw nearer, soldiers manning the incoming civilians take note. From her office in the Capitol, Prime Minister Kleo observes from a large, overstuffed chair near the window. On either side of her hovers two screens. One holds a view of the front courtyard, the other holds the image of a young woman, Lieutenant Holden, her face impartial and calculating as it watches Prime Minister Kleo peer out the window.
They are closing in at approximately 3 kilometers. Evacuation has concluded.
The time has come then. Once the last of the civilians are in, lock the gate. Send all of our troops out to meet them. I want to see every able-bodied man and woman in line.
What of the guards?
The people are restless, but tired and weak. They should pose no immediate threat. I want everyone holding guard. If I must make one thing clear, Lieutenant, they must not breach the perimeter. Permission to use deadly force if necessary. However, I want the Magi alive if possible. Is this understood?
Yes, Prime Minister. Does Magenta withstand?
You know the code. Eyes, but no contact.
Roger that, Prime Minister.
The image of the woman salutes, then flickers to darkness. The Prime Minister leans back as she peers out into the night, the oversized gates to the city slowly coming to a close as soldiers fall in line behind it. While the Prime Minister's troops prepare for a standoff, Milo leads Trinity and the others through the sterile steel labyrinth of the Capitol headquarters. Milo holds what appears to be a compass in the palm of her hand, the circular glass reflecting a bright red arrow pointing steady to their left. Blaze, his brow glistening with sweat, struggles to keep hold of his suitcase.
How much further?
Can't be more than half a mile more.
For the love of God.
You can hold that if you need a break.
I got it.
Are you sure? You look really sweaty.
Thanks.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Okay. We're clear. Keep to the wall.
Yeah.
The group glides single file along the wall and around the corner. Milo keeps her eyes fixed on the compass while Trinity strains for any footsteps that might not be theirs. Erion, holding up the end, freezes in her steps. Her eyes squeeze in pain, and she holds her head a moment before opening them once more. They emit a soft blue glow. Unseen by the others, Erion squares her shoulders and turns down a different corridor. A moment later, back outside the Capitol, Mathius and his men are blocked by several lines of soldiers just outside the main gate. Undeterred, Mathius takes a menacing step towards the front line.
Aye, what a welcome committee to greet us.
Mr. Patterson, your men are ordered to cease your attack and return to your village. The Prime Minister demands your audience in private.
You mock our people? Return to what village? Should wish death to all of us, all who don't fall in line with the blasphemy of the capital city. We demand an audience with the Prime Minister. There is no path for us but forward.
Your presence is the only allowed by order of Prime Minister Kleo. I repeat, disperse your men and come with us. If you do not obey, we will be forced to use other measures.
So the line has been drawn in the sand. The only way I shall appear before the Prime Minister will be dead.
Mathius drops to his knee and reaches deep into his robe, pulling out what appears to be several handfuls of shining silver pebbles. With a flourish, he casts them out and into the mass of soldiers before them. The soldiers hold fast to their weapons, taking aim to fire upon Mathius and his ministers as the pebbles ignite and explode. At the same time, from the maze of the Capitol, Milo, Trinity, and Blaze stop in their tracks as the walls around them shake, the sound of the explosion a low rumble.
What was that?
Sounds like an attack on the front lines.
Do you think it could be Mathius?
Trinity turns to address her friend, only to find the space behind her hauntingly empty. Her face loses color as Blaze pushes past her.
Where the hell did she go?
She was right behind me.
How long ago?
I don't know. I just...
What do you mean you don't know?
Can it with the third degree. All right, let's double back. She can't have gone far.
They dash forward just as Erion turns the corner a few meters ahead, her eyes wide. She lets out a soft sigh of relief as she spots the others and hurries ahead. Milo is irate.
What the hell is wrong with you? Where did you go?
I'm sorry, I just...
This isn't your secret land, sweetheart. While you are with me, you need to follow every goddamn word I say. Is that understood?
I didn't...
Of course you didn't. You stay right behind me from now on. You got that, Blaze? You follow behind. I don't want to hear another goddamn word.
Erion nods, tears forming in her eyes. Milo adjusts her bag and moves forward, the rest falling in line behind her. She consults the compass one more time and cracks a small smile.
Well, shit. Here we go, boys and girls.
Milo leads them around a corner to face a large metal door with a keypad to the side. Milo pulls out a small silver locket and opens it to reveal a tiny microchip. She carefully picks it up, rotates it to the side, and inserts it in the bottom of the keypad. The buttons on the keypad flash several times before going dark. A loud bang is heard, and the door slides slowly open. Milo and the others take a step back, Blaze, Erion, and Trinity staring in awe as they see what lies on the other side of the door. A huge, sleek spaceship. Milo turns to the others and grins.
Welcome, friends, to the Lady Jane.
It isn't more than half an hour later when the soldiers claim victory, the bodies of the ministers laying slain around them as Mathius is shackled and taken into the capital. Prime Minister Kleo watches their journey, bored, from her desk. A soft beep is heard, and she picks up her phone.
Report.
Ma'am, they have boarded the bird. Shall I engage now?
Negative. I want eyes on your post. Where was the point of entry?
East wing. Visual sending.
Prime Minister Kleo shifts to the side as her monitor flickers on, showing the Lady Jade now lit, smoke flowing faintly from around the base. The Prime Minister leans forward, her eyebrows raised.
They have it running?
Affirmative.
How? The Lady Jane was decommissioned, correct? How is this possible?
I am not certain, Prime Minister. There was no core inside on last inspection.
The Prime Minister taps the air in front of her monitor, turning the dials and flipping through images of the hallway surrounding the Capitol until she splays her hands wide, causing the image to freeze. Her eyes wide, Prime Minister Kleo rises as she taps a finger before the screen once more, the image resuming its motion. On the monitor, we can see an Erion, in a trance, walking into a small secluded room surrounded with shelves and safes. She makes a slow beeline for one safe in particular, holding a hand out to steady herself, and the other to trace a pattern along the side. The safe snaps open, and she pulls out two small black orbs from within. Not looking, she places the orbs in her bag before shouldering it carefully and exiting the room. The Prime Minister freezes the image again before rewinding it to see Erion holding the orbs.
Damn it, no! No! Lieutenant!
A crackling and roar is heard from the other end of the line. Prime Minister Kleo curses.
Lieutenant! Stop that ship! I repeat, stop that ship!
The line cuts in and out, Lieutenant Holden's voice clipped and buzzing amidst the roar of the Lady Jane's engine. Prime Minister Kleo bolts to the window just in time to see the Lady Jane take to the air and disappear among the stars.
They have taken flight, Prime Minister.
Damn it. Prepare your station, Lieutenant. Ready the 5th Fleet immediately.
Yes, Prime Minister.
Prime Minister Kleo walks back to her desk, resuming what calm she can, before picking up her phone again. She dials a series of numbers and waits.
Corporal, this is Prime Minister Kleo. We have a data breach that requires your immediate attention. Return my transmission for further instructions as soon as you are clear.
Prime Minister Kleo hangs up, taking a few steadying breaths as she holds her hand over the receiver. Another series of beeps sound, and the doors to her office open. Two soldiers enter, a bloodied and weary Mathius held fast between them. The Prime Minister turns to face him, an evil grin gracing her face.
Well, well, well. So glad you could join us, Mr. Patterson. I've been expecting you.
To be continued.